Control components are the popular way to build forms in React, but as your form grows in size, you'll start getting into performance issues. In this video, we will be building a job application form using control component and explore some of the issues we might run into when we are dealing with bigger forms. Let's get into it. This is a job application form with multiple sections and multiple fields. Some of these fields need validation and some of them have to be rendered dynamically based on users' input. To work with control components, first I'll have to define a state. To do that, I'm going to grab useState from my React. To manage state of my form fields, I'm going to create form data. I'll be using single state to capture values of all my inputs. I'll use useState and initialize it to an empty object. To save your input data, you'll have to define an onChange handler. Your onChange handler will be called for every keystroke. This is a place where you would want to grab users' input and save it in your state. Instead of defining multiple change handlers for all your inputs, I'm going to create a reusable handle change. This is going to take field and value. Inside my function, I'll be creating a new form data. For my form data, I'm going to add this property field and I'm going to assign it the value and I'll be setting that state. So when I'm calling my onChange method, handle onChange, for first name, I'll be using first name as field and for value, I'll grab it from e.target.value. To display input to the user, I'll be using this attribute called value and I'll be assigning it the state variable form data of first name. I'll format this to make it more readable. Let's check it. Whenever I enter my data, I can see my data is getting updated, but I also get an error that says I'm trying to convert an uncontrolled component. That's because for my value attribute, for the first render, undefined is assigned to the value. In order to fix that, I can just add an initial value for my state. I'll call it first name and I'll assign it an empty string and it should work fine. I can go to my dev tools and I can check my state variable getting updated. There you go, first name. Now whenever I change these fields, it would be updated. I'll do the same for last name. I'll copy value, I'll copy onChange. And for my last name, I'm going to change the field name to last name. Similarly for handle onChange, I'm going to change the field name to last name. And for my initial state, I'll be adding last name and I'll be setting that to an empty string. Let's check it. First name, last name. If I go to my dev tools, that should be updated. First name and last name. Now I'll have to repeat this process for all the fields of my form. This is going to take a while. I'm going to pause this for a second and I'll come back after I make those changes. I have added onChange handler and value attribute for all my fields. I'll head over to my browser. I'll add test data and you can see my data is getting updated. I'll add phone number and my location. Let's head over to components and let's check our state. You see all my values are getting updated. I'll move to the next section. I'll start entering the data and you see it gets updated. Similarly for my next section where there are checkboxes. For these checkboxes, an empty string is getting updated. We'll have to change that. We'll have to use checked instead of value in my onChange. I'll head over to my checkboxes and instead of e.target.value, I'll have to use e.target.checked. That is going to give me either true or false. I'll head over to my state and you can check that. I need to have an onSubmit handler on my form. To prevent the default behavior, I can use e.preventDefault. Inside my onSubmit handler, whenever user submits his form, I can grab the data from my state form data and I can just log that data. I'll head over to my browser I'll enter some test data. When I submit my form, I can get the data. Now let's try to add some validations to your form. As of now, there are no validations. If I clear out everything and if I try to submit my form will be submitted. Your browser supports few input validations by default. One of them is your required field validation. To add that, you just have to use required attribute on your input element. I'll add this for a couple of elements and let's check the behavior. I'll head over to my browser. When I enter my input data and when I try to submit, it gets submitted. But when I try to remove my required fields and when I try to submit this, it is going to trigger this inbuilt browser validation. Let's check for email. If I enter test data for my email and if I try to submit my form, it is going to trigger the email validation for my input element. Let's see how we can add custom validations. I have to add validation to prevent user from using certain first names. For example, whenever user enters admin as his first name, I'll have to show a message that he cannot use this. To check that, I'll head over near my input and just below my input, I'll check for my form data of my first name. I'll check if my first name equals admin. Whenever it is, I'll render a message saying you cannot use this. If not, I'm gonna ignore this. Let's check it. Whenever I type in admin, I render that message. This works because your component is rendered for every keystroke and it is going to validate if you have entered admin as your first name. Now let's check this section where I have checkboxes. Over here I have include portfolio links and include social media links. Now I'll have to dynamically render the URL section of these links. When I click on include portfolio, only then I'll have to render my URL field. Similarly for my social media field. Let's see how we can do that. I'll head over to my link section. Just above my URL links, I'll check for my form data and I'll check if user has selected the portfolio link. I'll do that by adding include portfolio. Now, whenever this value is true, only then I'll render my URL field. I'll do the same for my social media link. I'll check for my form data of include social. If this value is true, only then I'm going to render my URL field. Let's check this. Now initially they are empty. Now when I check my portfolio link, I can see that URL. Similarly for social media. This is how you can create your dynamic rendering within control components. Adding validations are pretty straightforward in control components, but look at the amount of code I'll have to write in order to make this whole thing work. Apart from this, your control components also suffer from performance issue. To check that, let's try to log a render statement and see how many times my component renders. Now whenever I change my input parameter, for every keystroke, my component is going to render. That's because for every keystroke, I'm setting a new state and that causes your component to render. This is one of the biggest issues with control components. As your form grows in size, you start getting into these render issues. As long as your form is small, you can work with control components. But if you foresee that your forms are growing in size, then it's better not to rely on control components. That's it for today's video. I hope this was helpful for you. In the later sections, we will be checking some of the best libraries to use in order to work with forms in React. Stay tuned for that and thanks for watching.